an English class, a first year writing class, and race was a large piece, a large component of this class. We talked about it all throughout all of our essays, projects, etc. One of our later projects that we did involved a book by Tanishi Coates, Between the World and Me, in which he wrote a letter to his son about the racial experiences that he went through and how he feels his son should act. And it was really just a message to his son about how he wants him to behave and how he wants him to think and feel. And the assignment given to us was to come up with a creative way to express our thoughts and feelings about the book we had read. Today I'm sitting here with Gabby and Janaya, and they asked me if I could be a part of their project, and I'm gonna let them talk a little bit about what their project was.
Alright, so our project was trying to display how the book objectified the human body, more specifically the black body. Many words were used within the book that simply didn't go along with the body.
Yeah, he used words like lose and steal to describe the body, and we felt that those words did not fit because it sounded more like he was treating the body as an object and not as a living, breathing human being person.
Right. So, my first question for you guys is, did you feel comfortable with asking an African American man to have his body written upon in such words that had such hatred towards him?
At first, we were not very comfortable. It took us about 2 days to get up the courage to ask an African American to use their body, and we did it at the last possible minute because we were like afraid that you guys would say like no.
Yeah, I remember the teacher actually came up to us and said, "Why don't you ask Anthony and Brandon, both black men in our class?" And it was a little uncomfortable, and I was actually in shock that the teacher recommended that. But it was a little uncomfortable that we ended up asking him, and it didn't cause a fuss, luckily, although we were worried.
Yeah.
It was a fun experience, I can't lie. My next question for you guys is, what message exactly were you trying to get across with your project?
Our biggest message that we were trying to get across is that these words, like lose, steal, destroy, all had no relevance with the human body. The human body is so much more than these words made it. You don't lose your body like you lose your cell phone. This is like a living human being.
And we put it on the body to show that it should not be on the body.
Mm-hmm.
Very great expression. My next question for you is, were you expecting any backlash from this project? As you know, it's a very touchy subject matter that you touched upon. Were you expecting any backlash or people to really go against what you were doing?
I carried this poster around with me throughout the entire day until I got to the class, and I was really worried that someone was going to say something to me or just be mean about it or anything, but luckily that didn't happen. So.
Yeah, after we finished the project and I had the picture on my phone, I ran around to all my friends and showed them, and immediately I didn't think of the reaction I could get. After I did it, I was like, oh wow, they reacted really well for something. I really didn't think through what the meaning was and how touchy it could be. But yeah.
How did the project affect both of you individually?
I definitely think it opened up my eyes to how bad our history was after reading this book, and I think it is important that we bring this to people's attention still, so history never repeats itself. I think that's always important, and
yeah,
that's basically my.
Even though the book talked about race, it also made me think about gender and social class and other factors like that, and how you should treat people the way that you would honestly want to be treated, and you don't know every experience that someone is going through, but you should still treat them with respect no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. My last question for you guys: has your perspective of the topic changed after completion of this project? Like, was your mindset before beginning this project the same as it was after, in terms of comfortability with race, or just being able to be comfortable with expressing such messages with different cultures?
Um, I definitely think I realized how uncomfortable it was. Like typing up the blogs for this project, like I didn't know like what words to use and what words not to use. Like I didn't really want to say black. I don't know. I didn't know how to put it into words. And I think I realized like how uncomfortable it was, because you always like, I don't know, when it's something with school especially, I think that was very weird for me.
Yeah, like before reading this book, I remember like learning in school that racism was bad and you shouldn't like say anything like racist. And I remember like also learning that racism ended with like desegregation of schools. But like this book really opened my eyes, and like I know that's not the case, and like people can still be racist today. And so it just made me more aware and open-minded about the topic of racism today.
All right.
I definitely think it was also good to realize like how uncomfortable it made some people, to see like how much progress we made, that this wasn't something we wanted to talk about and wanted to really discuss. So I think that shows like the progress we've made.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you both for taking the time to talk to me. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for
Thanks.
having us.
Warren, senior at Seton Hall Prep, and in the fall I will be attending Columbia University with hopes of pursuing a career in medicine. I came to Seton Hall Prep over 30 years after my father did, and I was a little turned off when I found out that the same teachers that taught him would still be, in fact, teaching me, because what this meant was that many of the traditions that were alive during my father's day would still be intact now. Uh, my experience, however, was richer because of the bond that I shared with my father. As in any family, my prep experience allowed me to see some of the things that still plague society. The same desire of my father's classmates from over 30 years ago to stroke his afro still boiled up in classmates of my own, as they too sought to touch my natural curls. White privileged, a skewed view of the world and of its cultures, and living out the timeless lessons of my parents all became a part of the learning experience while there. To be twice as good and twice as careful is something I often found myself practicing, as someone once told me that in the SHP administration, they are after you. They are coming for you. The discrepancies between punishments for blacks and whites were starting to become far too apparent.
Hello. Today I'm sitting here with a fellow friend of mine, Lance Power Jr., also a freshman. He's majoring in civil engineering. He's a part of the NBSA organization, which is National Black Students Association. He's a part of NBSE, National Society of Black Engineers. And he's also a part of CSO, which is the Caribbean Students Organization. Lance, it's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
My first question for you is, did you feel you had to work twice as hard as an African American student here at Northeastern? We are both African American students. We know this campus is primarily a white campus. Do you feel you have to work harder to receive the same recognition?
Yeah, I think coming in, I already had the mindset that I have to do like double the work of my peers, just for the simple fact that I am a black engineer. The engineering field is primarily white. There's not a lot of black engineers, so basically just being a minority in my actual major, I just wanted to show everyone around me that I belong here and that I'm capable of doing like the same level of work as them. So just coming in, I just had that mindset that I needed to do double the amount of work just to really show that I'm worthy.
All right. My second question for you is, what were your expectations coming into Northeastern, knowing what you know about the campus and being a primarily white school?
So basically coming in, I had the experience of being at like a primarily like white high school, so I already knew like the atmosphere. So just coming in, I just told myself that if I work hard, that people like professors and my peers will actually like see that I'm capable of doing the same work. So just coming in, I just wanted to show that I actually do belong here today.
All right. My biggest question for you is, you're a part of all these organizations that are about uplifting African Americans here at Northeastern University. Do you see a way of resolving the issue of African Americans having to work harder to receive the same recognition or not feeling as adequate to their fellow peers? Do you see a way of resolving this issue?
I think a simple way of just like, I wouldn't say a simple way, but a way of resolving this issue would just creating more like programs at universities like Northeastern that sort of bring in like inner city students and sort of like aid them throughout on their journey throughout college and basically to graduation. So they're just giving them the experience and the opportunity to be at like a top ranked university and giving them the opportunity to sort of like show people around them that like they can actually do the work given to them, that like, you know, African Americans, we work very hard, that we're just really hardworking people. So by doing this, we would probably just create a sort of like a bigger, I would say, black community on campus, just basically pushing our entire race.
All right. Thank you very much for coming in, man.
Anytime, anytime. Thank you.
Thank you. The assignment that I chose for the award ceremony was storytelling. The assignment was to passionately, creatively tell, our story. Personally, my story is not interesting. I'm a upper middle class kid from New Jersey, private school, basically my whole life. Played sports, received athletic scholarship to Northeast University. That's it. I saw the issues of race in universities as a much larger story to tell. How we can further make ourselves feel better and adequate in these universities and to our peers, I saw as a much bigger story to tell. Helping each other, I saw as a much bigger story to tell. If you know me, you know I love to help people. I've helped people my entire life, from whether it's passing food out on the street or giving a person change. From the time I was a kid to now, I've just always been about helping people. I've been a part of Big Brothers Big Sisters. I even started the first NAACP chapter in my high school. I was the president. Throughout the years, I've always had this idea in the back of my head. It's burned brightly, for a few years now. And coming to Northeast University, this big school of entrepreneurship or innovation, thinking of the best way of making this world better, the idea began to burn even brighter, and I decided to stop ignoring it. I'm here at Northeastern, this great school, let's do something about it, My idea is a nonprofit organization, the Moore Foundation. I know. What is the Moore Foundation? Well, my idea, this is something I wish to start in the future, is an organization that helps young inner city youth and gives them opportunities they would not otherwise have. I'm talking middle schoolers and high schoolers with potential, great potential, but no resources, no connections, and no opportunities. What I wish to do with the Moore Foundation, basically, is to find these kids. Give them somewhere to go after school other than home by themselves or running around the street. Give them somewhere to go after school to do their homework, play basketball, or just kick it. These intelligent kids would then receive opportunities that they would not otherwise have. Internship programs. I would want to get these kids to meet with politicians, lawyers, doctors, maybe spend a day with them, see what they do for a living, These are things that these kids want to do, but they don't know how they would be able to do it because they do not have the opportunities or the resources or the connections. With the Moore Foundation, these kids will receive all of this, all the resources, all the connections, and the opportunities to further enhance their ability to be great. This is something I've wanted to do for a long time now, and I'm looking to take the steps to do it. You know, I really want to in the future. This is something very important to me, helping these kids, because I've seen these kids all across New Jersey, you know, and I really want to help them. I really loved making this video. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.